Last week, Donald Trump sat down for an interview with a couple of Canadian YouTubers. Very popular, by the way, Canadian YouTubers. And 24 hours after they filmed this interview and uploaded it, it was removed from YouTube for violating the content platform's policies on spreading misinformation. So what misinformation was spread during this interview with Donald Trump? I don't know. Can you take a guess? Well, if you've guessed and you said misinformation about the 2020 election, you of course would be correct. Because during the interview, Donald Trump, of course, as he always does and will always do anytime he's in front of a camera, maintained that the 2020 election was stolen in spite of the fact that all evidence has shown that it was not stolen and Biden is the legitimate president of the United States and Trump lost because he's a loser. But Trump insisted on pushing that. There was apparently not enough pushback by the hosts to counter those claims, which, for the record with YouTube, just so everybody's kind of aware of what happens there, if you talk about the 2020 election being stolen and there's not pushback or there's not corrections, there's not clear statements saying that didn't happen, they will take down your video. Right? I think pretty much all of us on the left have had videos taken down or dinged for monetization because we talked about the 2020 election conspiracy theories, but apparently didn't enough times say that it wasn't stolen. So the 2020 election wasn't stolen. Trump is a liar. Just in case for the YouTube folks, if they need to see that. So anyway, after Donald Trump's interview gets yanked down, he of course has to issue one of his idiotic statements that his little press secretary has to go send out on Twitter, because otherwise nobody would see it, even if he put it on Truth Social, because nobody's over there. So it has to go to Twitter. And here's what he said. Whatever happened to free speech in our country? Incredibly, but not surprisingly, the big tech lunatics have taken down my interview with the very popular NELK boys so that nobody can watch it or in any way listen to it. In the 24 hours that it was up, it set every record for them by many times. In Russia, the people are not allowed to know that they're fighting a war in Ukraine. That's where our media is going, and that's where our country is going because it quickly follows. Just study history. Okay, I mean, yeah, Russia's censoring a lot of stuff, and that's horrible for the people in Russia. They do know, however, I'm going to go ahead and correct you on this as well. They do know they're fighting a war. What an asshat, right? Like, they don't even know they're fighting a war. That's how bad censorship is. Nope, pretty sure they're all aware of what their lunatic president is doing. And speaking of lunatics, there are plenty here in the United States. There's plenty in corporate America, but the actions of these, YouTube people who took down the video, that's not lunatic. The rules are very clear, and those of us who spent any time on YouTube in the last year and a half, I guess, understand that. You have to push back on these claims. It was not stolen. Not to mention, dude, for the love of God, how many more times are you going to go out there and tell us it was stolen and continue to not give us any evidence, right? I mean, that's why Mike Lindell's actually losing support right now. He said he's had all this evidence for so long, but every time somebody asks for it, he's just like, no, you can't have it. It's kind of what you're doing too, Trump. You want to make these claims? Back them up. But of course, we know you can't because those of us living in reality know that the 2020 election was in fact not stolen from you. You did lose because the people voted you out. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our Ring of Fire channel here.